Come here.
Hi, I'm Paul. What's my name? Smile. Yes, ma'am.
It's really hot in here. Hey, say hey to the camera. Goodbye.
Dang, she knows that word.
I'm sweating.
Welcome to my room. Question: do I look ugly in this?
Hey everybody, Claire here. Welcome back to my channel. You may notice something different about the little setup here today, and that is that I got my braces off. I'm just kidding. I have a guest here today, and you want to tell them who you are?
My name's Caleb. I am Claire White. I'm Claire Whiteside's boyfriend. I'm a whole human being added to this new setup. So.
We're happy to have you today. Okay, so I went on Instagram and told everybody to ask questions for me and Caleb, and some of them were directed to both of us, and some of them were directed like to us as individuals. Mm-hmm. I'll put the post I did on the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. Someone said, Samantha, why do y'all's tongues look alike?
Do we look alike? I've never thought of it.
Do they look alike? But anyway, I'm going to start off and I'm just going to ask him some like random questions just so you can get to know him. That's what the whole purpose of this video is to just introduce him to the channel. And so it's also his birthday, so wish him happy birthday. And I can find your cheek in the comments. I'm going to do this without this first. Okay, speed round.
Yes. Was that a question?
What's your name?
Caleb.
How old are you?
I'm 22 today.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite book?
Almost said the Bible, which technically it is the Bible. Probably The Things They Carried. It was a book I read in high school.
What's your favorite meal?
I love chicken Alfredo. I love chicken
More than
Alfredo with
sushi?
broccoli. Oh yeah, well sushi's new. That's something new that was introduced to me.
What is your favorite thing to do when you're not working?
Try and relax. I don't really do a whole lot of that. I've been a busy individual for the past 2 years, so I'm learning what it means to just relax and do nothing.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse at the emergency department. So I've been doing that for about 6 months now. 6 or 7 months, since July of last year.
Cool, pretty cool.
And I get to help people, so I love that.
Aw, so sweet!
I actually just got off of work this morning too, so I look exceptionally tired this morning. So. But it's okay.
It's okay.
All in the line of work.
We're gonna get to the good questions now.
Alright.
Some of these were like general questions, and then other ones were like deeper questions. And so like half of them were, how did you guys meet? So do you want to tell that story?
Heck yeah, I love telling that story. So it's very, very, very beginning, correct? Like it's just a, alright. So, one day, back in July, was it June? So I'm gonna start from the very beginning, like when I first saw her, laid eyes on her. It was back in June of last year. My 2019, my dad needed help moving some sets. He used to work at a high school, and so I went with him there, and we went there.
Well, pause, because on my side of the story, my dance studio that I work for borrowed some props that his dad had made at the high school for our spring production, and so this day, it was a work day. The school year had ended already last year. It was a work day, and I was taking those props back to the school, and I didn't know that he was going to be there. I thought I was just meeting the drama teacher there to drop them off, but when I got there, okay.
So full disclosure too, I was actually engaged in a previous relationship or anything. So I say that so I can make this point. So I went there, was helping out Dad, and so I look up and I see her, and like I said, I was engaged, and I've never been the type of person that's like, ooh, hey, how you doing? It's nice to meet you. I was engaged, and so I wasn't looking at her like, ooh la la. I was literally looking at her like, oh, that's a female over there.
Okay, pause. So when I get there, I guess we're just going to do this back and forth because it's important to see both sides of the story.
Yes.
So when I got to the high school, we parked on one side of the gym, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see the drama teacher in the distance, and she was like, "Okay, come around, bring him around here." And so when we were bringing the props down, they had wheels on them, so we were moving them down along. And when I come around the corner, I see him, and so like I was just taken back because I've never really been like captivated by a human before like I was. I don't know, it was weird. When I came around the corner, you looked at me the same time that I looked at you, and when our eyes... Go ahead.
So it was literally like a scene from a movie. Like our eyes met, and time slowed down for about 2 seconds, but it felt like eternity. And I remember looking at her, but like I said, I was engaged, and so I didn't look at her and be like, "Ooh la la, girl, you fine," blah blah blah. I literally looked at her and thought, "Wow, that's a very pretty individual," and that was literally it. We did not even introduce ourselves.
No, we didn't even talk.
Didn't say a word. Didn't say, "Hey, can I help you move
it wasn't
this?
like, "Hey,
what's
my
the
name's
weather
Clara."
like? You look nice. Your breath smells." None of that. But I do remember thinking in the back of my head, that woman is going to make a man very happy one day. And that was literally how that first time we met went. It was just moving stuff around.
For you.
For me, that because, but I remember looking at her at one point, and she looked at me, and she, like when we looked again, she looked and she went.
Yeah, I was like I said, something about him just like got my attention, and like I said, when we looked in each other's eyes. For that half second, it was literally like half a second, but like he said, it felt like it was much longer than that. I was like...
Across the courtyard, too.
Yeah, it was, we were like a distance away, like we weren't this close. He was grabbing a prop and getting ready to take it like through a doorway or something like that, and I was not close to him at all, but when we looked at each other, I was just like, whoa. And all I could do was like immediately divert eye contact. I was like...
Mm-hmm. She still does that now too sometimes.
Can't help it, he still makes me blush. I literally, and that was it. Like we made eye contact, we didn't speak, so that was our first
and
encounter.
I literally, and it sounds mean or anything, but I literally did not give any other thought to it because of what situation I was in. So that was just like a hey, passing by. Never thought I'd see someone like that again. Had a weird feeling though. It was a slightly drawn feeling, but I remember looking at her and thinking that exact thing. She is going to make a man very happy one day.
Well, I can't say the same. I didn't just let it go because that night I got home and that moment replayed in my head because I don't remember knowing your name. Like, I think I knew who you were. Like, I knew of you. And I remember hearing your dad's last name, which Rigsby. Yeah, and so
distinct name.
And then I was like, Rigsby, and then I was like, I know his sister, and me and his older sister used to ride the bus together, and so I looked you up, and
stalker.
No, yeah,
no,
I'm Joe from.
Oh man.
So I looked you up, and I saw that you were in a relationship. Like I was like, dang. And that was it. I just let it go. I was like, well, never mind. So, that was it.
That was it. No communication, no seeing each other, nothing until...
Didn't even follow him because he was in a relationship, and I'm not that person.
Yeah, no. And I honestly, and like I said, didn't really give it a second thought because...
You didn't even know my name.
Did not know your name at all. Didn't know you from nothing, so...
So how we actually met, now if you want to tell that story.
So, it was November. I had gotten out of that relationship 2 months prior to that, so I really was in like a rut, obviously. And I was going into work that night, and I went into work that night just praying. I was like, Lord, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to go into work. I don't feel very great.
This was in November.
I don't feel very great. Yada yada yada. And I come across my coworker Shantae. Shout out to you, Shantae. I love you forever and always. I come into work. And
side note, Shantae, I teach her little girl at dance. So Shantae knew both of us individually.
So she comes up to me and she's like, Caleb, I need to talk to you. Because if you know Shantae, that's how she talks. And when you get the chance, I need to talk to you. And
She's gonna hit you.
She is gonna hit me for that, but it's okay. I'll let her hit me. I don't care. She's like, hey, I need to talk to you real quick. I was like, okay, because we don't ever talk to each other. But I came up to her and she said, I don't know where you're at right now with seeing anybody, but she said, here's a picture. This is a girl. She said you've met before. She's a good Christian girl. She's absolutely beautiful, and she teaches my daughter.
Because she has pause. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Because
you're good.
she asked me first before she talked to him. She was like, Clara, because she knew I hadn't been dating anybody. It had been a long time since I dated someone. She was like, there's this really cute guy that I work with. He's really tall. He's a Christian. He's so handsome. And I think he would be perfect for you. And I was like, well, what's his name? She was like, I don't know.
We did not talk.
She was like, his name is Caleb, but I don't know his last name. I'll find out when we work together again. And I was like, all right. This was like a week before she talked to him. And so I wasn't even thinking about it. She was just like, I'll whenever I see him again, I'll let you know. Because, I mean, with the hospital, I don't know when she's going to see you again because schedules are different. But anyway, so this is when she actually talked to you.
She shows me a picture of her, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you always get excited, you work yourself up, that's just how you work, just be cool. And it was literally like, you know, movies when they're sitting there thinking, and then they see the picture of the person, and you just hear that white noise like,
like, what did she say?
She was like, she's beautiful, she's tall, she's got blonde hair, blue eyes, she's a good God. She literally said, I know you're a good godly man. She's a good godly woman, and she sings wonderful. She's a dancer, and I'm thinking to myself like, oh snap! Like this is literally a dream. That's awesome, especially the godly part because I'm very, very much set in my faith and my belief, and that was something that I was looking for. And she showed me a picture of her, and I absolutely I was trying to play it cool, but I looked at the picture of her. And the two things, I always said this to her, the two things that caught my attention was her smile and this little cross that she wears all the time that her Nana gave her. And, I mean, it was the smallest little thing, but that thing looked like this big in the picture. It was awesome. And so I just kept looking at pictures of her.
Clutch, Nana.
Yeah, thank you, Nana. And I was like, oh, man. And then she kept telling me more about her, and I was like, oh, man. And she said,
oh, man.
She was like, well, she said, here's her number if you want to message her. And I was like, oh, man, she wants to talk to me.
Because at the time when she was talking to him, like the moment she was talking to him, she was texting me at the same time. She was like, he seems interested, add him on Snapchat. And I was like, Shantae, I'm not on social media. At the time, I had taken a really long break from social media, and I was like, no, like, if he wants to talk to me, just give him my number. And so she gave you my number. But she was like, I think he's interested. And I was like, okay, like, am I about to go down this road again? Like, because I wasn't necessarily ready for anything either. And so
Me neither.
it's just funny how that worked out.
So I held on for 2 hours. I held on to that note. I was like, messaging my sister Leah because she's my stalker sister. I was like, look, how do you know this woman? Because she's also a social butterfly, so she knows everybody in Eastern North Carolina, or she knows someone who knows someone. So I prayed about it for 2 hours at work, and I messaged her and reached out, and here we are.
Yeah, in 2 hours, because Shantae told me, she was like, he's going to text you. And so this was late at night, and he was on night shift, and so his hours aren't the same as mine, and so she told me that it was like 8 o'clock at night, and late. she was like, he's gonna text you, and I was like, all right. And so time goes by, I'm watching TV, and I was like, is he like, not that I was like, are you gonna text me, but like I was going to go to bed, and I was like, well, I guess, I mean, I'll just see if he texts me in the morning, because I'm not gonna sit up and wait, you know. So and then like right when I was about to fall asleep, he was like, hey, like, and it wasn't just like, hey, but he sent me this like kind of paragraph. He was like, hey, this is Caleb, is this Clara? And I was just, Shantae told me about you, and just so you know, like, he was very clear too. He was like, just so you know, I just got out of a relationship recently, like, I'm not, what did you say? And it was so sweet, like, it was so like gentleman, like, you were like, I'm not necessarily like ready to jump into a relationship, but what a fool I would be if I didn't at least try to get to know you,
yes.
something like that.
That's what it was. I said, be kind of a fool not to get to know somebody like you, because she talked about you, and I was like, man, this is a just to get to know someone like Clara, like y'all that know her, y'all know her, so it'd be a shame not to get to know someone like her. So, and then she was up till 2:00 in the morning texting me.
That's true.
So-
We didn't stop. Well, you were on night shift.
Yeah, I was on night shift, so I was like working, and I wasn't neglecting my patient care. This
No,
was
he would
literally-
respond like every 45 minutes or to an hour. Like, it wasn't like he was.
I was thinking like, okay, she's gonna lose interest. She's gonna think I'm a butthole and just don't want to talk to people at all. And I'm like,
No, I was in and out of sleep. Like, I would hear it ding. Like, I was sleeping really lightly, and I would hear it ding, and I'd be like. But anyway, that was the extended answer to that question. How did we meet? So, I mean, we can go into detail about like how we really began
That's a-
later on, because that's a really long story.
it's a long story.
A
For
long,
another day.
complicated story.
Yes.
Next question. What is your biggest fear?
Probably my biggest fear is not being able to help out family. Like, if I'm stuck in a situation and I can't get to my family that needs help, or if I can't get to something, like if I couldn't get to you, if there was something wrong with you and I couldn't get to you, that's my biggest fear.
My biggest fear is being in a situation I can't get out of,
Mhm.
like, or being constricted, like, not being able to move, or or being in a tight, like, anything, like, I can't.
And cinnamon. That's her fear too.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to cinnamon. And my heart goes out to you. Anyway, next question.
Drew Proctor says, Caleb, how did you get so darn handsome?
That's definitely Drew. This is all the work of the Lord and Mom and Dad. So shout out to Mom and Dad, because you made this.
What is one thing that you both want to do together that you've never done before?
Definitely go travel, I would say. Go travel.
I was going to say Disney World,
Yeah.
but he's been to Disney World. I haven't.
I've never had that opportunity to take somebody to Disney World for the first time and be like an ultimate tour guide. So that's something I'm really excited about. I want to take her to Disney World so bad, because I've been about 4 or 5 times throughout my lifetime with my family, and I just want to take her and just sit back and watch her be a little kid.
I'll be crying.
Yeah,
the whole time.
too. Be hilarious. It'd be sweet though.
What are your goals in the relationship?
So,
We're dating right now, so smaller goals, like to achieve together.
to achieve together is just becoming better individuals with one another, and to become closer with one another.
Really just becoming best friends, or more best friends.
Yeah, you're my best friend. So, and
Yeah.
I enjoy getting to know you and spending time with you and getting to learn you, and you
Yeah.
get to learn me. And
I want to learn as much as I can about you.
And so I love her very much. I like spending time with her. She's just
yeah.
great to be around.
Oh, he's so cute. Leah said, "Does Caleb have a big nose?" And I think that's directed at me. Leah's his little sister, by the way. Ever since I met you, you were like, "I have a big nose. I have a big nose." Not to me, but like talking about yourself. You just you're always roasting your nose, and I was never sure why, because I don't think it's big. Like, I don't know. I think it fits your face
Is
just
it?
fine.
Is it? You decide.
I think it's fine, but Leah, I think, thinks you have a big nose.
Oh, I know I got a big nose.
What is your favorite worship song?
Psalm 34 by Brooklyn Tab. It's between that and In Christ Alone, The Solid Rock I Stand. Those 2 songs. I love those 2 songs. I've played those through a lot of times and trials in my life. And anytime I'm like down in the dumps or my mind is just overwhelmed, I play those songs and it really clears my mind.
My favorite, like, classic praise and worship song would probably be Here in Your Presence. And I think that's the one I'm thinking of is by New Life Worship. That's one I can never get enough of, especially the bridge where it's like wonderful, beautiful, glorious, matchless in every way. That I can never get enough of that song. If I had to pick a current favorite, like something newer, it would probably be either between Follow You Anywhere by Passion or It Is Finished by Passion.
Yeah, I could see that.
We'll end it on Steve's question. Steve asked.
Steve.
He said, he didn't really ask a question, but he said, where is it at? He said, future together, question mark? So, you can answer that.
Absolutely. Like I said, I never my intentions of just dating just to date. Like I date with the intentions of marriage. So I absolutely love to have a future together. I'm actually like, that's what I'm preparing myself for with you. So, and we've talked about that together a lot.
Yeah.
Like I told her like this is what I want, and she said this is what I want, and so I said, well, cool, we're both wanting the same thing.
So.
The number one thing though is on the Lord's time and the Lord's
Yes.
will. That's always been our number one thing. And
Yeah.
like we said earlier, that's an interesting story that we have to tell.
Like our whole story is very, very God orchestrated,
amazingly.
and
So it's hard not to see that the Lord is in this. And so with that knowledge,
me.
I'm definitely pursuing that, and definitely want to have a future with her.
Yeah.
She's absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so I think we're gonna call it here. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I hope to bring him back for more things. We'll definitely have to tell our story at some point in the near future. Is there anything you want to say before we shut off the camera? Any
God
advice? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.